Hey, Elsa here! So I had a comment from a viewer named RVTraveler, and they asked me, Sai, how about a video about how you got started with Intarsia and what challenges you faced at first? So here I am. Well, how I got started in Intarsia is my brother was doing a bunch of metal art, and he was selling his art at a Christmas bazaar in Albany, Oregon. And so husband and I went to the Christmas bazaar to see my brother, and we went and looked at all the other displays. So as we were walking through, husband stopped and was talking to this lady because she had a bunch of wood art, and I was listening out of the corner of my ear. I was listening to their conversation, and he asked her, where did you get this stuff? And she said, I made it. And when she said that she made it, that caught my attention. I'm like, well, you made these? And so I asked her about it, and she said it was called Intarsia, and I wrote that down in my hand. So when I got home, I looked up Intarsia, and I ordered a couple of books about Intarsia. One of them was Kathy Wise, and one of them was Judy Gale Roberts, and I read their techniques, and their books also came with patterns and stuff. And so I was waiting for a class from Judy Gale Roberts, and the class was out a ways. And husband finally said to me, he's like, why take a class? Why don't you just try it? I was like, okay. And so I took the techniques, and I read some other people's techniques, and I kind of melded those together and just did some things that I understood and thought would work for me. And I just started. But the challenges I faced, one of them was I really didn't know how to work my scroll saw. So we got this saw, and husband got me the Excalibur because Judy Gale Roberts had said that that was the very best saw. So he just went out and got me the very best saw. And he had never had a scroll saw before, so it was new to him also. And using the scroll saw, I just didn't know what it was supposed to sound like. I didn't know how it was supposed to cut. I didn't know anything. I just had to learn to adjust things and stuff. Anyway, it would have been nice if I had watched a video or gotten a book or something to talk about how to use the scroll saw, but it just didn't come with anything. And there are tons of videos out there now. I don't think there weren't as many in 2010 when I started. So the problems and the challenges that I've come across since then, well, first of all, gaps, always a problem. And I'm learning different techniques to fix gaps, and just don't make a gap to begin with. That's what I need to work on. I'm not letting the gaps scare me off, because gaps happen, right? Whatever. Something that I've learned that can be a challenge is knowing what blade to use. And so I bought the blades that were recommended by Judy Gale Roberts, and still I didn't know when to use what blade. Now I'm getting blades, and on the package it says use this with this kind of wood. I'm like, oh, now that's easy. So I like that. And I've put my blades in order for thickness of wood that it cuts, and that has really helped me too. I know there's a lot more to learn about saw blades, but as I get interested in reading about saw blades, then I learn more. But I just have a hard time sitting there and reading about saw blades. And I have all these charts and stuff, but they've helped me with the thicknesses. So the challenges that I have now that I should have had then, but I just didn't know to think about those things, are what wood to use, because before I just used whatever we had. Now I have an idea of what I like to use and what's available for me to use. And also grain direction. I thought about grain direction a little bit, but I didn't think about it a whole lot, and so I think about that more. I also think about my glues now. Before I just used whatever we had, and now I've discovered that I like some glue better than others. And when it dries, I like glues that aren't yellow when they dry. And I've also learned about the backer boards. I can use 1/4-inch plywood, I can use hardwood, I can use a lot of different choices there. Before I was just using 1/4-inch plywood because I figured that was the only thing that you could use, but you can use anything. And finishes. I've learned a lot about finishes. So before, I just went to the store and bought a can of finish, which happened to be the polyurethane, which I really, really, really like. And I've tried other finishes like the clear acrylic, which I didn't like so much, but I like it now for different applications. So it's just learning, it's just doing it. You just gotta do it and learn it. And that's what's happened with me, I guess. There's a lot more challenges. There's a lot of things that you think about as you're sawing, and everybody that does scroll sawing knows you're thinking a bunch of things as you're working, like, oh, which way is the blade going, and am I going too fast, am I going too slow, am I going to cut my finger, stuff like that. So, yep, there's challenges all the time, but it's just so fun and relaxing. Yeah. And I'm really glad that I got started in it. So I'm really glad that we ran into that lady at the bazaar, because I would have never learned about it. So RVTraveler asked this question, and that's my answer. That's my answer. That's my answer. So thanks for joining me, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye!